Good Saturday morning, everyone. I just woke up a little while ago, but I'm hankering for, my granddaddy used to say, I'm hankering for a good breakfast. And so I'm making up eggs. I'm going to call them eggs Gracy style, okay? I'm Gracy to my grandchildren. So Nancy and Grandma together made Gracy. So that's what they call me, and I love it, and they love it. And now my son-in-law calls me Gracy now. Everybody calls me Gracy in the family. But, and I wanted to be a Gracy so long. I think I was 60. Well, no, I would think I was 58, 59 when I became a Gracy. Salem was the one that made me a Gracy, and she is so precious and beautiful and got those beautiful blue eyes and long blonde hair, and I just love them. I got to see them last weekend on my birthday. But I want to show you what I'm making. So I am making some eggs. So I got the butter melting in the pan here. I'm going to turn it down on low. But the first thing I'm making is a chaffle, and I've learned a new recipe. It's called Wonder Bread Chaffles. So what I've got in this little thing, I just do it in here to make it easy. I've got one egg. I've got 1/4, now write this down, okay? 1 egg, 1/4 teaspoon of bacon powder, a tiny little bit. I've got a little shake of salt, and remember to use real salt. This is salt that has minerals in it. You see those minerals in there? And I ordered this from Amazon. You can find it at some grocery stores, but not many. And then a tablespoon of mayonnaise. Yes, I'm using this, but it's what I have, okay? I need to make up some homemade mayonnaise that doesn't have all that stuff in it. And then I actually use 2 tablespoons of almond flour. So here you go. It actually looks like cake batter, all right? And you could put other things in it if you wanted to. Hold on, I gotta go get some cheese. So I'm getting some mozzarella cheese out of the fridge, and I'm going to put a little bit of cheese in the Chaffles iron. So this is it. This is where you put it, and the reason is it makes it brown a little bit better on one side. If I can get this cheese open, we'll have cheese. Okay, there we go. I didn't realize it had not been opened yet, so there we go. So just about not even a tablespoon of cheese. You see, I'm just sprinkling a little bit around the bottom, and you'll see in a minute what it does. And then I'm just going to put, this makes actually 2 chaffles, so I'm going to put 1 in there, and you don't need to put a lot, okay? You just kind of want it to cover it. In fact, you'll be able to see, because otherwise it comes all out the side. And that's not, I did comb my hair a little bit, but not very much, okay? So, hey, Susie and Mary and Miriam and Cheryl and let's see who else. Mamaya, Jim, and Brenda. Okay, thank y'all for watching. Let me know where you're watching from this Saturday morning. It may be early from some of y'all if y'all are over on the West Coast, but it's time to get going. I'm going to do yard work today. So while that's cooking, which it won't take but a second, I want to show you what I do with my bacon. So if you've ever done bacon and you try to get into the package and it's all stuck together, and well, you just take it and you just roll it up. And as you roll it up, I usually do it before I open the package. As you roll it up, it separates it, okay? And then you can, it's so much easier. So here's what I've got over here. I've got my pan, let me get it where you can see it, with a sheet of parchment paper. If you have not found the parchment paper in sheets, it's wonderful. Yeah, and usually it fits. I mean, this is one of my biggest pans. And so then I just start laying it out like that. And I'm gonna cook it in my air fryer on 400, okay? So that seems to be a good temperature for me. And by the time I get this laid out on here, that chaffle will be ready over there. Now this butter is getting a little too hot, so I think I'm gonna slide it off a little bit. Yeah. But I like for my pan to be warm, you know, when I start cooking in it. I don't like to All right, I'm gonna go ahead and cook this whole pound of bacon. Now, we don't usually eat a whole pound of bacon at breakfast, but I like to have bacon to put in things. So I'm planning on cooking some more today, and there's always, you know, something will call for bacon, or I'll see a recipe. I'm like, oh yeah, I've got some bacon already cooked to make bacon bits, you know. And there are some bacon bits that you can buy that are, you know, pretty healthy, but a lot of them just have a lot of stuff in them. And look at my little convenient right here by my side, my little paper towel. I got one on each side. My son-in-law said to me, he said, Gracy, the best thing about your kitchen is you got paper towels on each side. I'm like, yeah. All right, I'm gonna stick this in here, and I'm gonna turn the timer on about 8 minutes. And that should be enough. All right, let me go check this chaffle over here. And how do you know they're done? That's perfect. Look at that. Perfect chaffle. You know they're done when they've let out the steam and the steam quits coming out. You know they're done. All right, let me get a plate. And we're gonna have chaffle. Okay, so of course I'm gonna use my little fingers. All right, there you go. And you see that on the back side, it made it brown, and I like that. All right, I'm gonna put a little bit more of that. Yep, you can see me. So just spread it out a little bit. And you could put some on the top. All right, and then I'm gonna put the rest of this in there. So that's waffle, chaffle number 2. And there we go. Kind of spread that around. Now that's a little more than I normally would have put, so we'll see. It may squish out, and that's not what I want it to do, but anyway. You see I got a bunch of stuff over here. I'm gonna be making white chicken chili today. So I went by the store last night after we went to dinner and got the stuff to make it. So basically it's got a can of this green chili enchilada sauce. It's got salsa verde. I am going to put some white chili beans. And I don't usually use beans, but I don't know. Today I just said, I looked at the carbs and I'm like, okay, it's got 20 grams of carbs and a half a cup. So I'm going to put a cup. So in that whole big pot, it's going to have 40 grams. Now see what happened? See there? It's leaking out the side. You can't see. It's leaking out the side. So I tried to put too much. I should have just saved that, and I could have made another whole waffle. So now I just got a mess. But it's okay. You know what your mama always said. You live and learn. So thankfully, here's my little trash can right there. My refrigerator's beeping. Let me go close it. Okay. All right, that's going to be ready in a minute. So let me take you back over here, and let's do some eggs, all right? So I got my eggs in the pan, or my butter in the pan. I used to put more butter, but now, you know, butter is so expensive. I mean, and I really don't need it with these pans. These are called Our Place pans. I'll put the link below. People are always wanting to know what that is, and they are the best pans. I have this one, and I have a large size that is, I mean, they're just my go-to pans anymore. I don't even use my cast iron anymore. I mean, it's down there, and if I need an extra pan, but honestly, I just swap these out. So here's how I make my eggs, and you may have seen it before, so if you have, and you're like, oh, I've seen that. Hey, Robin, good to see you. Hey, Barbara, and Judy, and Dale, and a lot of y'all on here this morning. Okay, so I always use either these pasture-raised or I use happy eggs. And so I just crack them in here. This is just how we like our eggs, okay? So I'm gonna put them right back in there. So I'm gonna do, today I'm gonna do 4 eggs. Normally I do 5 for me and James and he, but today I'm making me a chaffle, so I'm not gonna eat as many eggs. And you know, now with the cost of everything, of course the cost of eggs has gone down, I'm happy to say, aren't you? Now let me tell you about eggs. If you want to get the most out of your eggs, you see I'm cracking them in there. All right, if you want to get the most out of your eggs, let them be room temperature when you get ready to cook them. All right, so now I'm just gonna put, I see that still smoking over there, so it's not ready. I'm gonna put what's left of this cottage cheese in this, and that's about, it's about 1/4 cup, maybe a little more than 1/4 cup. And you might think, ooh, I don't like cottage cheese. I'm like, well, then don't use it. Put what you like in there. You could put cream cheese, and then I put a little bit of heavy cream, and then I'm going to put just a handful. That's going to be about maybe a fourth a cup. James really likes cheese, so I do use a lot of cheese. And then I'm going to find my salt. So I'm going to let that cook a little bit. Oops, not that side of the salt. I'm going to put some salt, and then I'm going to find some pepper. Where's my pepper? Okay, here it is. This is not my favorite pepper, but I will use it. It's got some bigger chunks of pepper in it. So sometimes with this thing, you get little chunks of pepper or big chunks of pepper. I'm not crazy about that. All right, here we go. I'm going to come over here and take the chaffle out because you see it's almost quick. And look at that. It's perfect. It is perfect. All right, so there's two. I could get a little bit more out of this. I think I will, just because I don't want to waste it. Or I could actually make some more and add it to it. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to get all that out, all of that goodness out of there. And you see how if I had not overrun it, I would have almost had enough for 3 chaffles. So there we go. I'm just going to get that little bit because I don't want to throw it away. All right, so there we go. There's the chaffle. I could put some butter on it. I could put cream cheese on it. I could make waffles, like use maple syrup. I do have some black raspberry jelly. I use about a tablespoon of that. And yeah, so here's my eggs over here. Let's get back over here to the eggs. Busy lady this morning. So here's what I'm doing. I'm letting these eggs cook. So that's on low. Let me turn it up a little bit. I'm letting them cook like this, almost like fried eggs, okay? And here's my reason. If you're on here, put it in the comments. If you've watched it before, you know, is the yolk and the white taste differently. And if you scramble it all up together, that's one taste. That's scrambled eggs. But if you cook them separately like this and let them, you know, let the yolk kind of cook like on the back side and let the whites cook. And then what I do is I flip them over and I let them cook kind of like a fried egg. I haven't busted the yolk yet. Well, no, that one just busted, so that's okay. But I'm going to turn that over and let that cook. You actually have some yolk cooked and some white, and you see it's different. You see the white and you see the yolk. And you might be saying, well, big deal. Well, if you tasted it, then it is a big deal. And my husband says to me, when your husband says, Nancy, you make the best eggs of anybody I know, I'm like, okay. And I just kind of came upon this, you know, practice makes perfect. So I've practiced cooking a lot. I've been doing it probably about 54 years because I started when I was young. There were 5 of us kids. I was the only girl, so in the afternoon, my mom would have me before she would get home from work. She worked during the tobacco season. You know, we grew tobacco down here in South Georgia. All right, and then I'm just going to chop it up a little bit. I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to move it over here and let it sit off for a little bit. Okay, so let me talk to you a minute about today. This morning I got up. I didn't get up early. I got my coffee here. I do decaf coffee because I have essential tremors. Inherited that from my mom. Ooh, bacon. Don't forget it, Nancy. Let me get my... That's why I set timers, because I don't want to mess up. Should be ready. Oh, yes, it's ready. Almost too ready. Perfect for James. He loves it. All right, so that's 8 minutes on a good hot oven, and there's the bacon, okay? Now, what I do is... got my little pitcher over here. I pour off the grease, okay? The extra grease, and I will use that sometimes. Let me show you. Here we go. I'll just pour it off like that. Yep. And then I can use that later. I'll pour the rest of that off in a minute. But, okay, you're going off. You're going off, and you're going off. So everything's off. And I was telling you about my essential trimmer. So everything's done except that last little waffle. Let me go over here and get that last little waffle. piece of waffle. There you go. I want to unplug that so I can talk to you without worried about all this stuff. Okay. Are you off? Yep, you're off. And so I have this essential trimmer, so I don't do caffeine, and it really helps because when I do have caffeine, I can tell that my shaking is worse. So, and honestly, I never drank caffeine for that boost anyway because I'm a morning person. I get up, I'm good. I just like to hold. I like to hold a cup of coffee. It reminds me of my mama. We drank coffee so much together. If you went to her house, there was a coffee pot on, all right? So here's what I want to talk to you about today. What you focus on grows. And where your focus goes, your energy flows. And I don't know if I shared this week, but I woke up one morning and I had a day full of patients. I had about 12 patients scheduled. And, you know, these are people, a lot of these are very, I'm going to call them heavy duty patients. They've got a lot going on. They've had a major back surgery. They've had, you know, a major knee surgery or 2 knee surgeries or, you know, just, excuse me. Let me move these bacon because it's sitting on that hot burner and it's still cooking. I don't want it to be. Okay. And thoughts started coming to my mind. Usually my first thought is, thank you, God, for that I can get out of bed myself. Nobody has to help me, you know, because I know that I worked in the nursing home. I know there are hundreds and thousands and millions of people that have to wait on someone. I think of Joni Eareckson Tada. I don't know if you know her, but she has a beautiful ministry. She broke her neck when she was 17 or 18, and now she's in her late 60s. And, you know, she's paralyzed from the neck down. She can use her hands if she has splints. Anyway, so I think about people like that. So I'm like, okay, God, thank you that I can get out of bed myself. And then the next thoughts were negative. How much you got to do today? It's a long day. And I don't usually do that. And I immediately, you know, so my husband said, have a good day. And I'm like, yeah. I said, mornings are hard. And even that doesn't come out of my mouth. And he said, yeah, I remember, because he would get up at 3, 3:30, 4 o'clock to be at work. Sometimes he'd drive an hour and a half to work 12 hours. And I'm just working 8 hours, you know. But that's when he was younger, too. But, and by the way, I am 69. I just turned 69 last Saturday, and I feel so good. That's the main thing people say. You look good. I'm like, well, thank you, but I feel good is what's more important. And so I immediately started taking my thoughts captive. You know, the Bible says that. It says, take your thoughts captive. And so mine were just running away with me. Oh, you got to do. And at lunch, you got to go do this and that. And I just said no. And I immediately started saying, thank you, God, that I get to go help these people. It is a privilege. I get to do it. I don't have to do it. I really don't. I choose to do it, okay? And even if when I did work every day, I chose to do that. I could have done something else, or I could have not worked and not had some things, but, you know, I chose to work. I choose to coach people. I choose to offer my knowledge. I choose that. So instead of focusing on what wasn't working and what didn't feel good, that's what you focus on. It was growing. And I said, no, I'm going to choose to focus on what is working, what can work, what will work. And my spirits lifted. And I went through that day just like I was floating. And I was able to minister to so many people. I give people hugs, and it's funny, it takes them back sometimes because so many people don't get a hug. I haven't had a hug yet today. I'm going to get one soon. But if you live alone, there's nobody to hug. So just hug yourself right now. Just hug yourself and say, I'm worthy. I'm worthy of a hug. And just let Jesus hug you. That's what I'm going to say. Just let him hug you and celebrate his goodness in your life. You may have pain. You may have sorrow. But God is enough for today. And he says in his word, I give you everything you need for life and godliness. That's 2 Peter 1:3. That's a great verse to memorize. Go get that verse and write it on a card and put it into your memory. And I'm telling you, it'll help you and it'll help somebody else. So I'm about to dish up a little breakfast here. And later today, I'm going to do this chicken chili. I'm probably going to share that too. But I'm probably going to download this video and upload it to my email. So if I don't have your email, you need to let me have your email. So put info below. And what you'll get an opportunity to put your email into my email server, is what they call it. And I do send out 2 or 3 emails a week. And then when I'm offering a challenge or offering some workouts, or I'm really, let me show you. Really getting serious about redoing my cookbook. Okay. I just have to sit down and do it, or find somebody that'll help me format it again. But I do think I want to do that. And so y'all have a great day. Let me ask you a question. Can I ask you a question? All right. I'm gonna do this cookbook again, and it's got like, let's see, it's got 50 pages. I think that's 50. Yes, 50 pages. And I'm trying to figure out what to charge for it. They're going to charge me it's going to cost me about $10 to print it and to mail it. If I do a spiral bound, I can do one that's not spiral bound, a lot cheaper, but I just think a spiral bound cookbook is what you want. So what would you pay for a cookbook like this? Okay, just tell me. I'm thinking $14.99, $15. You know, I got to cover my costs. I can't do it and go in the hole. But I do want to cover my costs. So let me know what you pay for a cookbook like this. And so that means it's 100 recipes. And what these are, they're recipes. So let me just share with you. So like broccoli cheddar cheese soup, all right? Chicken fajita soup, Instapot creamy chicken soup, keto stuffed bell peppers, salmon croquettes, pumpkin delight, pepperoni pizza casserole, crustless cheesecake, and that was a really good one, key lime pie, low carb keto pound cake, pumpkin spice latte, magic cookies, blue cheese, Vidalia onion dip. I mean, these are all recipes that people that were in my challenge sent to me, and I put them in a cookbook. And so I use it a lot. There are probably 5 recipes in here that I use regularly. Yeah, let me see. Here's another one. Meat crust pizza, loaded cauliflower, broccoli casserole. I mean, these are recipes that you'll use over and over and over. So just let me know. Just put in the comments what you would. Okay. Hey, Marianne's $15 seems fair. Yeah, I think that would be fair. But you know, it's going to cost me $3 to mail. So anyway, I'm still looking for maybe a better option to get them printed. If I do, like I said, without the spiral, they're like $7. But then I don't think that's. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts about that. Okay. So like I would put that. I probably wouldn't put the eggs in here because that's not really a recipe. That's more how you do it. But I guess I could. The chaffle recipe, I would put that in there. And then I would probably put maybe some scripture, some devotion, just some things to make it a worthy, a valuable asset to have in your kitchen. Okay, y'all have a great morning. I'm getting ready to dive in with my husband to this breakfast and just going to celebrate God's goodness today. He is so good and so faithful. And I've had a lot of tragedy in my life, a lot of difficulty, but I always knew that if I drew closer to Him, that I would be okay. Not that He changed the situation always right away, but He I felt his nearness, and that's what I want for you. I don't want you to feel alone or abandoned, because you're not. You're not. So y'all have a great day, and let's talk soon.